We live in a world that rewards what is fast, new, and young, while quietly disregarding something we can't afford to lose. There was a moment when I realized that I had been moved into a different box. It didn't come with a lot of fanfare or a special invitation. It came in small moments. Like the first time someone referred to me as ma'am in that particular way. Sounds like you know what I mean. And I didn't think it was from just respect or admiration. It was a box. Or in meetings, when I would offer my viewpoint or a strategy or a pattern that I could see because I'd seen it before, and the room would just carry on. And at first, I explained it away. Don't be difficult, don't be sensitive, just keep going. But here's what that strategy cost me. It cost me my confidence, and then it cost me my voice. Not because I didn't have anything to say, but because I thought the system was saying, you are no longer valued as much. And it's not just about me, it's about what the system couldn't see. But then I could feel a shift. I could feel it in my body. I was no longer willing to shrink to fit into a job that no longer fit me. On paper, it was success, but inside, I was asking a different question. Am I here to serve a spreadsheet, or am I here to serve life? And so I quit my corporate job to follow a different path. But don't worry, this is not an advertisement for you all to resign your jobs. But it is worth paying attention to because there are many women asking themselves the same question. And because I didn't just leave leadership, I left a system that didn't value what it couldn't measure. Now, what I've learned in my practice as a therapist and a coach over the last 11 years, working with hundreds of women at the same crossroads, is they're not lost, they're unfulfilled. And even if they're not leaving, many women in senior leadership are quietly thinking about it. So when they do leave an organization, that organization doesn't just lose a person, it loses institutional memory, emotional intelligence, and the kind of insight that comes from lived experience. And the effects of that don't show up right away, they show up over time in rework, churn, and decisions that age badly. And yet, the world keeps accelerating, especially with AI. Our world is being pushed to go faster and faster. And that means more output, faster decisions, instant everything. But speed without judgment doesn't innovate. We just excel into the same mistakes, or we make new ones. So what do we do with that? What's the alternative? Well, I like to think that it's been in front of us the whole time. We just couldn't see it. A 2025 paper in Intelligence suggests that cognitive functioning peaks between the ages of 55 and 60. Not because we get faster, but because we get wiser. And women between the ages of 50 and 65 are one of the most economically influential demographics on the planet, yet consistently underleveraged in leadership. And women in their 50s are going through a powerful stage of reinvention, asking themselves, maybe for the first time, what do I want for myself right now? And the answers I've found have been remarkable. Creativity, adventure, love, starting a new business, pivoting in their careers, leading and mentoring. And yet they're still overlooked. Not just in the boardrooms, but in the stories that we tell about who still has something to give. You see, we've built systems that measure what is visible and fast, while grossly undervaluing things like context, judgment, and emotional stability. All of the things that women in their 50s possess in abundance. And yet, they're still overlooked. So, what do we do with that? How do we stop wasting the thing that we can't afford to waste? And how do we start measuring differently? Well, I'd like to think that we could get wiser. So welcome. Welcome a woman to the table. If you have a strategy table without a woman over 50, you don't have a pipeline problem, you have a value problem. To replace a senior leader can cost up to 200% of their salary. The rest isn't measured, so it's not quantified. And I invite. If a woman over 50 isn't necessarily looking for status, they're looking for purpose. And if you don't help them build it, they will find it themselves and they'll build it themselves. The fastest growing group of entrepreneurs in the UK are women over 50. And S, strengthen. Emotional intelligence isn't soft. It's strong and it's infrastructure. Organizations with older workers, experienced workers, perform measurably better. And E, exchange. Intergenerational learning means fresh energy meets seasoned experience, and that's where great ideas can come from. Without it, we may be just repeating the same lessons, but with different people. And R, represent. Make wisdom visible, not just in your leadership strategy, but also in who you hold up as the face of the future. Which brings me to Altha. This is Altha. She lived to the wonderful age of 102. And to the outside world, maybe she was just a domestic worker. But to me, she was everything. She was also the funniest, wittiest, wisest woman I've ever known. And I went to her at 30 years old and freshly divorced, full of shame, because I was the first person in the family to get a divorce. And I said to her, I'm really sorry. And she looked at me and smiled and said, don't you think if I had your opportunities that I wouldn't have divorced your grandfather a long time ago? And she was kidding, I think. But what she did say was, you have so many opportunities in front of you. Just go live your life and forget about what anyone else thinks. And that one conversation changed the trajectory of my life, because without it, I wouldn't be standing here in front of you today. And so I want to leave you with this. Look around you, in your organizations, in your communities, and in your families. Is there a woman over 50 who you've stopped seeing? If so, maybe pause and ask her what she sees, what she knows, and what she would do. And then listen. Not because she knows everything, but because she may be able to see something that the system has missed. and what gets missed changes everything. You see, sustainable innovation doesn't come from the boardroom. It comes from how we choose to see, value, and measure each other. We will continue to make the same mistakes until we learn to value what we've made invisible. So put wisdom back where it belongs, not on the sidelines, but at the wisdom edge. Thank you.